Alright boys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a very special video. I'm going to be attempting to build my first gaming PC. Now, this could go one of two ways. I could totally screw this up because I've never done this before. Or with the amount of time I've spent researching and watching videos, I'm going to build a really awesome machine. So, stick around and see how it goes. Okay guys, so let's get into it. I'm going to start by making my case as easy to work on as possible. So this just gives us ease of access to all parts of our computer. The one thing I did do before I started filming, just because I had extra time and I figure nobody really cares about seeing it, is I put in the case fans. Some of them came with the case, the two in the front and the one in the back, but the other 9 I installed myself. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure that the correct orientation of each fan, because certain fans you want intake and certain ones you want outtake of air. So we're going to move this out of the way for a second. Oh, and I also put the power supply in the back without the cables though, just so it's secure. Nothing exciting there, you're literally just screwing in 4 screws for each fan and 4 for the power supply. So, now we're going to get into unwrapping the motherboard. Time to open this puppy up. Now, for this computer, I've decided to go with AMD Ryzen 7 3800X. So you're going to want to be pretty careful with this and not touch any of the pins. So you're going to find the little gold triangle, which is right there. And you're going to want to place this. Oh, there you go. It slid right in. Yeah, so you never want to push on this, as far as I know. It should just fit right in, as mine did, and that way you don't damage the processor. Okay, so that's in there. That was pretty easy. So let's take a look at this fan. So I've decided to stick with the Wraith Prism cooler, and I did not want to do that. So yeah, based on research I've done and reviews, it's a pretty decent stock cooler, so I'm gonna try it because I really do like the look of it. And frankly, a lot of the other coolers, CPU coolers, are facing sideways instead of head on, which I think is not very aesthetically pleasing. So we're going to hope this does pretty well. If it doesn't, then I will have to make a change. But for now, let's test it out. So this is kind of a different looking CPU cooler than I've seen. So they're clipped, not screwed on. I've never seen that before. So it took me a second to figure out. That's not on. There we go. And we're just gonna tighten it so it goes nowhere. It's on properly. We're going to do our memory. Now, so for our RAM, I decided to go with the TridentZ Neos by G.Skill. They're, I believe, where does it say? 3600 megahertz with CL16 latency. So, hoping that's plenty fast. And we're gonna have 32 gigabytes of RAM to start off, only using 2 sticks, so we can easily expand to 64 gigabytes if need be. And they are indeed RGB. Okay. Gotta slide that in nicely. There we go. Just had to give it a little push. I just didn't want it to be too forceful with it right away. There we go. Okay, so those are in. For our SSD, I went with the Western Digital Black, 1 terabyte, and as far as I can tell from reviews and research, it's one of the faster SSDs you can get right now. And I went with the non-heatsink equipped version because my motherboard actually came with its own heatsink option installed already. And that would be the one. So that's out. Okay, I can't see anything. Okay. Screwdriver. So screw that SSD in. And then can throw this back on. In its correct placement. Okay, perfect. I think. Like I said, I'm not an expert, so we'll see how this goes. Trying to keep it as not messy as possible around here. So let's just move this over here for right now, because I want to get this thing into the case. So, I'm gonna lay this big sucker down. Just make sure wires are out of the way. All the screws are there. Yeah, all 9. Okay, so the cooler, and we're gonna, how the hell am I gonna get it past that? Okay, so that wire got in the way right away. Okay, so that's in the right spot. Okay, I believe everything is in the right spot now. Okay, so now that they're all seem to be in the right spot, I'm just going to tighten them down a bit. Well, all the way now, but in a way where we're going at random points. Well, not random points, but across from each other, so there's equal pressure along the board. Fans are in, motherboard's in, SSD's in, still gonna do a hard drive, and I guess we can start hooking up cables. So, I guess we'll take this sled. It'll probably be easier to cable manage. Okay, so I don't want to show this whole thing, but we got the 2 screws down here, 2 screws over here, and we're going to put 2 more screws in here. And then, as you saw before, and as this one does, you just slide it in here, and you got access to plug in the cables here. So, at this point, we're going to be trying to run all the cables and cable manage. Now frankly, that might take a while if I want it to be clean, and it's not going to be the most exciting thing. So I'm going to pause the video here, and once I get everything in order, I will continue the video, show you how I ended up doing the wires, and we'll get back to the exciting stuff. So, where we cut off last, I said I was going to do some cable management, and I would skip that part and show you guys what it looks like now. However, I will disclose, and you will probably notice just by looking at it when I show you, that things don't look the same. Now the reason that is because I realized the power supply that I had purchased to use in this computer, while it had enough power, hypothetically, to run this machine, it didn't have enough cables of variants that I needed, and frankly the wires weren't of great quality. So I switched, and I went a bit overboard. So I switched from an 850 watt to a 1200 watt. So I figure this thing should be able to power pretty much anything I want to put in this thing. And frankly, it's just a much better power supply. It's by Corsair, better brand, and the cables, you can tell, are real quality, which helped me feed and just, you know, manage the cables a lot better. So with that being said, let's turn the sucker around, give you guys a good view of it. So as you can see, I tried to keep everything away from the fans so they're not blocking, so there's still good airflow coming in, and that way you can't see the wires from the front through the fan. Tried to keep the SATA cables and the USB cables kind of by themselves, not crossing over too much. Tied down multiple places. The big power supply cables are kind of wenched under the space between the power supply and the hard drive, and they're all secured down and pulled as far back as I can, so it gives it a cleaner look in the front. Now, the much more important part, frankly, I'm sure what everyone's more interested in, is the front. So, as you can see, everything's installed. I tried to make it as clean as possible. This, like I said, we took apart at the beginning, so a lot of this will be covered up. The top, this you can't see through, so that cable you don't have to worry about, won't be visible. So there it is. I've actually already booted up Windows and tested that everything works. It's connecting to the Wi-Fi, so everything should be good to go. So I'm just gonna put the case fully together while you guys watch. Moment of truth. Look at that. Seems to be alive. And, let's see, I'm not going to show my password because, yeah, you guys can't see. And there we are. So, fully functioning, already connected to Wi-Fi. And I haven't messed around with RGB yet. I'm just finished putting it together, as you guys saw, so I'm going to mess around with all the, RGB and software overclocking, what have you, now that it's fully functioning. So I might do another video on that, but for now, guys, that is the new build. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our future content with great new content uploaded multiple times a week. And finally, guys, until next time, have a good one.